Hi, my name is Randall Smith, and I'm a near-death experiencer. I died at 6 of carbon monoxide poisoning. I was clinically dead for 20 minutes, 19 to 20 minutes. It all started in 1968, February 28th, 1968. My dad had went over to help his friends work on a car, and I went with my dad, and I got two other sisters, so they stayed at home. I went with my dad. I always hang out with my dad. So anyways, we go over, and he's working on the car. The hood's up, the car's running, and I'm inside the garage behind the car playing. They didn't know where I was. They thought I was outside playing, but it was dark. So anyways, I'm over behind the car playing. They're in the front of the garage where there's a walkout door, so they're able to walk in and out the door to get air. I wasn't. I didn't think anything about it. So I'm back here playing, and I remember getting dizzy. And then apparently they heard my head hit the bumper, and that's when they came back and found me on the ground and brought me inside and performed CPR for seemed like 15-20 minutes before I came around. And ironically, there was a lady there who was a nurse, so she didn't know those procedures. So anyways, when I hit my head, I was out, and I instantly went to the light. And when I went to the light, there was these beings next to me. Now, I didn't have a life review. I was only 6 years old, so it happened very quick. So these beings were next to me, and they welcomed me, and we just kind of walked down the path, and we went to different cities and rooms and what looked like cities. I mean, being 6, everything is huge and big at that point. So I'm walking through these places with these beings on either side of me, and we see the book of lives, and they were just shimmering. They looked like page, just like a page, but it was a whole book. It was kind of weird. But anyways, we're walking down this pathway, and we end up in this room, and the room looked like an octagon, a big stop sign. That's what I remember it being like, just a big stop sign in the middle of the room. The room was shaped like an octagon, and the well that was in the middle of the room was shaped like an octagon. There was a well in the middle of the room, and I'm not sure why it was there. But anyways, these beings were next to me, and we walk up to the well, and this thing was huge. I mean, it was massive, huge. Being 6 years old, I couldn't get a perspective on size, but it was big. I could see the other side, but it was over there. Okay, so anyways, in this well, there was confetti like energy, I guess is what I'm going to call it. Energy just all over the place. It wasn't bubbling or nothing like that. It was just in it. Okay, so, and it was confetti, all different colors of confetti. So I'm looking at these beings next to me, and they were shimmering beings. They didn't have any physical form, but you could tell they were a being. They shimmered, and they looked like the silvery aspect of what I was looking at in the well. So I was urged to put my hands in the well, and when I did, it just a light tingling sensation happened to my fingers, and it was just absolutely, it was remarkable. My hands right now are absolutely hot just thinking about that. So it was just, it's remarkable. It's really hard to describe. It was almost liquid, but it wasn't liquid. It was, it kind of looked like mercury, but it wasn't mercury because it didn't have that consistency. It didn't have that color, but it had all the colors of the rainbow, and it was just so fluid when you put it in your hands. It would run through them like water, just like water, but it was puffy and energized, but it was like water. It's kind of weird, but I really contribute the putting my hands in it to bringing back the hands-on healing ability, that sort. And it was like the confetti you can buy at a party store or something like that, but it was really small, just small particles. And it was really, each one of them was energized, and it had all of the colors, even including pinks and magentas and different shades of blues, just all of the palette of colors that there are. And like I said, I felt that tingling sensation go on while they were in my hands, and I still get that tingling sensations today. So it's really, I contributed to that. Besides the experience opened me up completely. And being able to bring back the energy with me, I think was very important for me too. It's, it's, I'm amazed, speechless, but I'm amazed. So I just kind of pulled back like this, and I'm in awe of the confetti and everything else. And these beings are on either side of me here, and I hear in my head, you can go any direction you can go anywhere you want. Okay, so when they said that, tunnels appear. There were 4 tunnels, one in front, on either side, and behind me. And when I looked, I started to the left and looked back. And when I looked back at the left, I woke up on the couch and they took the oxygen off my face and they said, he's back. And here we are. And I went to the hospital, went to the doctor, and everybody said I was fine. I feel fine, other than it is really weird, man. I was 6, I'm 61. And since then, life has been absolutely crazy, incredible, and crazy. I'm a very empathic. I see things, I hear things, I sense things, I know things before they happen. Some say it's a gift. I say it's a curse for a little bit until you figure out what's actually going on with you. And when you figure that out, then it's a whole different story then. So since then, I became a shamanic practitioner. I'm a Reiki master healer. I'm a psychopomp. And a psychopomp is somebody who helps spirits cross over. Since my near-death experience, I've seen a lot of spirits. And I had them visit me when I was a kid, and I didn't attribute it to having a near-death experience. I was raised in a Southern Baptist family. My mom's dad was a preacher, and every time you turned around, you're going to hell. So, and they would say, stop lying, stop lying. You don't see this, you don't hear that. No, stop lying, stop lying. So, I'm thinking, hell, I'm going to hell. So now what do I got to lose? So at that point, when the realization hit that I'm really different than everybody else, there's others out there like us. I mean, there's a lot of people now who have had near-death experience, not to try and, separate us from them. But anyways, since then, being a shamanic practitioner and a Reiki master, I'm doing what I believe I was led to do when I put my hands in that well. Because after I put my hands in that well, my body, I changed. Everything to me is electrically different. I can't wear watches around electrical problems. This thing might be going in and out. I don't know. I can't really tell. My lights, I'm surprised they're still on. But anyways, I replaced them since the last interview. But yeah, things are different. I'm electrically charged different, and I don't wear watches. But what I like best, and this is what I believe that I'm supposed to be doing since I've come back from that experience, I help a lot of people cross over. And there are a lot of comments that people say, well, why are ghosts here if everybody goes to the light when the light appears? Well, not everybody goes to the light when the light appears. And the reasons, there's many reasons, not just one, there's many reasons for that. Some of the big ones is because of religion. And I'm not saying religion is a bad thing. I believe everybody needs a good foundation to work from. So in aspect to that and in respect to that, my grandpa always told me I was going to go to hell. So if I was to have died any time around that period right there, I would probably be stuck here because I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going to hell for telling the truth. So now what? So anyways, to move forward a lot, I've been urged to help people cross over for a long time. So I started doing things like this. I studied advanced depossession and curse unraveling through the foundation of shamanic studies. I'm already able to visit spirit world and transcends the different dimensions. It's hard to stay in those dimensions because of the vibrations that we currently have, and it's hard to really get your vibrations up and keep them there. So in order to stay in those dimensions, your vibrations have to be high. We're still physical, we're still human. So in order to be able to do that, I have to be able to transcend a different dimension myself too, and I'm not able to do that yet, but still working on it. So anyways, being a shamanic practitioner enabled me to be able to hone the gifts that I already was given. My mom used to she would have me kiss her head because her head hurt. She would have me just touch her arms because her back hurt. And she's, all you gotta do is just touch me, it goes away. I didn't think anything about that, at that age. But when I got to be in my 20s is when I really stepped in, did shamanism, became a Reiki master in my 30s. And, like I said earlier, that's kind of where I'm at with it. But the near-death experience prepped me for what I do now. And if it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't be doing this. But this is, besides my daughter being born, it's the greatest joy of my life, is helping people cross over who are stuck here. Okay, free will plays a big part in this. When the light appears, you don't have to go to it. And a lot of people don't go to it because of the fear that was instilled in them from a very early age. And there's a lot of adults still who are very scared. I don't want to go to hell. I don't want to go to hell. You're not going to go to hell. I believe people who are bad, who are horrible, still go to heaven, but they don't go to the upper light, upper echelons of the spirit world. Their soul needs to be reconditioned and things of that sort. And there are places for that, and that could be considered hell, but I don't believe that. I do not believe in the devil. I do believe there are dark force entities who are here, who are playing and creating havoc upon our planet, but I do not believe in the devil. Okay, we all come from the light, and everybody will go back to the light when you die. Everybody will go back to the light. Again, you're not going to go up here. You're still being the light, but you're going to be down here having your soul reconditioned and reaffirmed and whatever needs to take place with that particular soul. Okay. So helping people cross over is to me is absolutely it just touches my heart on a very, very deep level. I've been asked to do places where, you know, thousands of people are crossed over in one fell swoop, and you know, homes where there's 2 or 3 people there. I tell this story, I'll tell it again here. I was asked to do a place in southern Indiana, and the lady sent me pictures of the particular homestead. They have a newer house up higher on this hill. I'm from Tennessee. We have mountains. In southern Indiana, they have hills. Okay, so it was a pretty big hill. So there, it was way up there on this hill. But since they're older, they needed to build a house a little farther down. So they built it about halfway down, which is easily accessible from the road. And then I'll just slide back down the mountain, the hill, if they get home. I do sense and see things and feel things and sense things and smell things. Okay, so I'm looking at these, and there's 50, 75, 100 orbs just all over the place. And this picture's like, this is what's going on. So we have some energy here. We have spirit stuck here that's causing a little bit of, not intentionally, but causing a little bit of ruckus. So I go down and I tell them what I'm going to do, and I have them leave. I don't like for people to be around when I do this, because I don't want spirits jumping on you and then, you know, having other problems and have to go back down and do this again and so on. But I have everybody leave, and I told them I'll call them. It would probably be a couple of hours because it's pretty good property. So I do my thing. They leave. I go in the middle of the house. I'm rattling. I got a drum. It helps you to change your consciousness by beating 6 to 8 beats per second in a monotonous fashion. Will help you alter your consciousness. And in doing this, you can transverse to different spiritual realms. It didn't take, I don't know, just, I brought my rattle. I brought my drum just in case, but I brought my rattle. I'm rattling, and all of a sudden this young man appears next to me, and he's got a mixture of clothes on. He's got what looks like Confederate shirt and northern and southern clothes. He has the northern and southern clothes on, and then some kind of farmer hat. But I'm talking to him, and he's telling me what's going on. I didn't give me a name. I didn't ask. I'm just glad to see him, and that he came forward. So we're talking, and he tells me about what had happened here. They had a skirmish. And as he's telling the picture, I'm already tuned into him because of the rattle and my near-death experience. So I'm already tuned in. So when he's telling the spirit, and when he's telling the story, spirit opened up, and I was able to see what he was describing to me. And the house was situated at the top of a gully, and the gully looked like about a football field wide and deep, probably about half that deep. It was a pretty big gully. The house, beautiful home, sit on a great spot in the mountain, you know, on big hills. So anyways, I'm looking out, and I see there's bodies laying everywhere. There's 3 or 4 here, 4 or 5 there, 1 or 2 here. They're not all stacked together, but there's a lot. It looks like there was a pretty heavy skirmish that went on. When I looked down at the ground below where I was standing, and, you know, I seen bodies here and over there. It's like, oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my. So I tell them we're going to bring family, friends, and loved ones from the light and help them cross over. And if there's anything you can do to help, please help, you know. So I'm rattling, and I close my eyes, and I go deeper, and I see the light appear. And when the light appears, then I see, you can hear it. It's like this, it's a whisper, and it's very fast, and you hear it, and it's just, it touches you. I mean, it touches you like you've never been touched. My hands were the first to touch my daughter's head. I delivered my daughter. It was like that. It was just, it touches you very, very deep. So when these people are crossing over, and I kind of pull myself back a little bit because I wanted to talk to him just a little bit more and see if he was still there. So I look over, and we start chatting, and I hear him say, "You helped 750 today. Love you." And I told him I loved him back, and he was gone. It's like, oh my God, really? Oh my God. Oh my God. And I'm sitting there, and I haven't rattled, you know, for a minute because I'm soaking it all in. And I'm thinking to myself, did this actually really, oh my God, did this actually really, and I'm getting cold chills. And I'm going, did this really happen? Did this really happen? And I rattle and I close off the area. I ask that no negativity come here. Only those of love and light are now permitted on this property. So by doing that, then I felt an expansion of love over the entire place. And it was just absolutely, I'm beside myself, and I'm mesmerized by what I'm experiencing. It was beyond anything I've ever, at that point, ever experienced besides the birth of my daughter. It's like going to your grandmother's house and you're her favorite, and you have everything in the house you could ever want because you're her favorite. That's what it felt like. The love is, it's immeasurable, but it is overwhelming, and not overwhelming in a way to where you're hypersensitive or negative or anything like that. It's just, oh my God, this is so beautiful. It's like watching the sunset you have never seen or the sunrise you've never seen. You know, the first time, it's just breathtaking. But the thing is we're going home. We never die. We just go into another room. We go into another dimension. We never die. The soul never dies. It always lives. We just go from physical experience to physical experience. So I gained my composure. I called them and I said, I got this taken care of for you. You can come back. And they come back, you know, and they say, well, let's take a little ride. And I'm thinking to myself, cool, I'm really hungry because that takes a lot of work, you know. So they say, let's take a little ride. Cool, I'm ready. So I'm thinking, what am I going to eat? So they go down to the bottom of the drive, they make a left, and then they come around a little bit around the back of their property. There's wrought iron fences on either side, and they pull into a graveyard. And this graveyard was all the people that died within the skirmish of this field right here. And there was over 1,000 people in that graveyard, over 1,000 graves. It was a pretty big grave site. It was just, I was blown away. I was absolutely, and though they were too, I was blown away. And I am so thankful that Spirit has given me the ability to be able to do this via my near-death experience, because if it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't be doing this. I would be playing music professionally, probably somewhere. I retired from music in 2003 because I felt my journey needed to change, and been doing this full time, dedicated since 2003, but actually been doing this since 1968. But I love what I do. The near-death experience has really changed me, and hopefully because of this, I help other people in their life too. You know, and some of the things that I had learned upon all of this throughout my lifetime is, it's kind of hard to sum up in a couple of statements or a couple answers or whatever. If God couldn't show up today and he asked you to step in, now what difference did God make? You're not going to understand everything that you signed up to do when you came here in one lifetime. And I believe in reincarnation, like I said a minute ago. So in regards to that, we choose everything. We choose our parents. We choose all the stuff that is going on in our lives. And the reason for that is for soul growth. We pick and choose all of it. And we are given different options within that construct of picking your families. So, and I believe that wholeheartedly. It's all predetermined. We pick our lives with our guides before we come here as to the best soul growth that we can possibly have. We pick our family, our friends, and our loved ones. And most of the time, now, this is going to upset some of the people, but most of the time, our parents are not, how do I say this? They're not, they're just a vessel to get us here into this dimension to work out what we're supposed to work out here. Don't get me wrong. I love my mom and dad more than, just know that. My parents, absolutely adore them. They're both passed. But the people that you meet outside of the family and the ones that you have such a connection to that you cannot deny, it's like, why am I so connected to you? There's not an attraction there. There's not any of that, but why am I so drawn to you? You know, that is part of your soul group. And those people sometimes only last in your group within maybe just a few years. But from my understanding throughout life, some of the greatest lessons ever learned were the short-term relationships that were in my life. So I know that people come and go, and yes, we do choose all of it, including my near-death experience. I know that when I had my near-death experience, I was retuned than what I originally came here to do. I was able to play the drums before my near-death experience. I was only 6, and I played the drums pretty good at being 6, and I've never given any formal lessons on playing. I'm a multi-instrumentalist. I play multiple instruments. I've only had just a few lessons to heighten what I already know. So I believe those gifts came with me. And I believe my destiny at that point
was to be a professional musician because of the opportunities I have had since then. I know that those gifts came to me, but when I was rewired at 6, now love and compassion and the ability to bring healing to the world is what I brought forth. It's what was given to me, it was given to me to bring forth. Now, when I say I'm referring to the spirit guides. I'm just a hollow bone. The energy comes through me. I'm just a hollow bone. So it's all of those who are the ones who create miracles and things of that sort. I'm just a hollow bone. Okay. I'm not anything magic or nothing like that. I'm weird. Okay. But I've been rewired. So that's why I think that I'm pretty positive. That's why I had my near-death experience at 6, because I needed to be rewired, because I did feel a different destination going on there. It was still there, but it wasn't the forefront helping people. For me, when you have people coming up to you when you're 10 or 11 or 12 asking you for advice, and they're adults, you give them what you're hearing. And 99% of the time, they were happy with what I was telling them. I had no idea what I was telling them. I was probably channeling information for them. I was in good connection when I was early in life, before you started hearing all this, you're going to hell, stop lying, you're going to hell. When you're pre-programmed by society, that's when your gifts and things like that become oppressed and you repress yourself. When you can feed them and not take the criticism of others to your heart, and when you can feed them, that's when you can grow spiritually. And the time for that to happen is now. We got so much going on. Everybody needs to not necessarily get down on your knees, but go in and find out who you are and what you are. What makes you happy? What doesn't make you happy? Remember this, it's not up to somebody to make you happy. It's not up to somebody to make you happy. Happiness comes from right here. I'm not saying me, okay? But happiness comes from within. I love nature. I like colors and things of that sort. And when I'm around that sound, it energizes me. I like to feed my soul. And when I feed my soul, I'm experiencing places of beauty like nature, the sunset, the sunrise, birds, talk to the birds, talk to the animals, all of it. We're all one, we're all connected. And we got to get back to that. In order to be able to open up any intuition that you have, you need to get back to nature and learn to meditate. The simple act of meditating 20 minutes a day will open you up like no other. You can go to all the gurus in the world, but nobody's going to open you up like what meditation does. And what I say to people is be your own guru. You don't need somebody, learn stuff. The best experience you can ever have is to learn. Be your own guru. Again, if God wasn't able to make it today and he asked you to show up, what difference did you make? Oh, wait, let me go find a manual. No. There is no key to the universe, is the bad news. The good news is always been unlocked. It eats you alive if you're not feeding your soul. It's like an artist not ever painting, or an artist not ever singing or playing an instrument, and you're qualified and you're very talented in those areas and you don't use those. And it's just like that. If you don't use those and this and that, illness and ailments come along. But when you start feeding your soul, now you're feeding your soul, and every cell in your body is responsive to that. So love is the strongest medicine there is. And when you love yourself and when you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. So feeding your soul feeds your body, feeds all aspects of your body. And recognizing and honoring those gifts is a big step in a happy life.